All right, guys, we are back. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. And look here, guys, I want to talk a little bit about Errol the True Spence Jr. and how I would say right now in the boxing space, there's some doubt about him going into this fight with Tim Tszyu. Now, for those of you who don't know, Errol Spence Jr. is set to return to the ring. I think it's July the 25th. He'll be fighting over in Australia. Something that, a lot of Errol Spence Jr. fans, it's not really sitting well with them that his comeback fight is over in Australia. I would prefer it be here in the United States, preferably in Texas. I quite often went to Errol Spence Jr. fights, especially when they were in Texas. But it is what it is, and I'm going to support him whether the fight's in Texas, Las Vegas, or Australia. Now, here's the thing. People are doubting him. And I have no doubt in my mind that there are some people doubting him because they just don't like Errol Spence Jr. But there is a section of people who are doubting him because they're being objective. And that's where I like to come in at. Being objective is one of those things that seems like it's shunned in the boxing community. It always has to be, boxing channels that fanboy certain fighters. And I don't like to be like that. And even as a fan of Errol Spence Jr., I can understand why some people may doubt him going into this fight with Tim Tszyu. And I'm going to give some reasons for that. I'm just not going to put that out there. Number one, I think the biggest reason would be inactivity. Errol Spence Jr. has not been in the ring for almost 3 years. I think it'll be 3 years to the day. The fight's on the 25th. I think the last time he fought Crawford was 2023, July the 29th. So it'll be 4 days after he steps in the ring with Tim Tszyu. So we all know that inactivity can kill a fighter. And Errol Spence Jr. is a man like anyone else. We don't know if he's really that same guy. We're just not going to know until the fight actually happens. Inactivity, like I said, it can kill a fighter. It doesn't necessarily do it, but it can be a extreme factor, I would say. Number two, he's coming off of a loss, a one-sided beatdown, of course, by none other than Terrence Bud Crawford. He was brutally stopped in that fight. You guys saw how Errol looked after the fight. He looked like 10 pounds of hamburger in a 5-pound sack. Now that could psychologically affect a fighter, losing like that. We've seen that before a lot of times in the past. Case in point, Adrian Broner, after he took that hard loss to Marcos Maidana, he was never the same fighter again after that. You guys know that. He was gun shy after that. And we haven't seen what Errol Spence looked like after he fought Crawford, because after that fight, we didn't see him again after that for about 3 years now. So that right there, that's a question that has to be answered. Is he shell shocked from the knockout with Crawford? Number three, of course, you have the equation with the car accident and the eye injury. Will that play a factor in the fight? Like I said, we just don't know. He's older now, of course. He's 3 years older. Him being with a new trainer. He has Ronnie Shields now. Before he was training with Derek James. We don't know if he'll be more acclimated to Ronnie Shields' type of training, style fighting. We don't know what it's going to be like. Will he revert back to his old ways? Will he show us some new wrinkles in the game? We just don't know. So there is a lot of questions to be answered. So I can understand why people who are objective would kind of have some doubt going on there. But like I said, we have Tim Tszyu, who, he's had some issues himself. We saw him take 3 brutal losses, 2 to Sebastian Fundora. One of those fights where, he actually quit in that fight. He quit on the stool. And then we had the brutal knockout by Martazelev. I think right now the only thing that I would say Tim Tszyu has going for him is that he's been active, where Errol Spence hasn't. Now, I would say skill-wise, I still think Errol Spence Jr. is the better technically skilled fighter. But like I said, he's with a new trainer now. So is he going to bring a different look? That is something that's questionable, that you can question as a boxing fan. But I just wanted to put that out there. I thought that was important, to be objective about things. I will be rooting for Errol Spence Jr., but of course, I'm going to have a little doubt in my mind because of the things that I mentioned there. But anyway, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Are people being haters because they have a little doubt? Or do you think it's justifiable as a boxing fan to have just a little bit of doubt about Errol Spence Jr.'s return to the ring? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.